So today, the internet went crazy when everybody and their mom started posting the official Jason Schreier Bloomberg article in which Sony pulls back from PlayStation games on PC. The video game publisher no longer plans to put out PC ports of PlayStation games such as Ghost of Yotei. Now, remember, I think it was either Saturday or Sunday or last week, Jason Schreier appeared on a podcast and he talked about how he has sources within Sony that is talking about how Sony is going to be pulling back on releasing their exclusive titles on PC. And we're going to break this article down. Now, notice how today is what? Let me see. Today is Wednesday, and it took several days for Jason Schreier to officially make a statement via his Bloomberg article from the time that he appeared on that podcast and made that announcement. So you have to also think, this is a really big announcement as far as like, oh, breaking news, right? And for some reason, like these, dare I call them Sony ponies, they hold Jason Schreier up on a pedestal as if he's some like gaming god. That like I saw some comments last week talking about this one dude said, oh, if I'm just waiting on Jason Schreier to make an official statement. If not, I'm not going to make any moves. I'm like, bro, that's fucking crazy that like you're waiting on some journalist to tell you what to do with your gaming career, your gaming life. That's neither here nor there. But let's go on and cover this article here, okay? And I made some highlights, and I want to go over several other things too that I think a lot of people aren't talking about, and that is the financial aspect of Sony as a corporation. And I'm talking about everything Sony. Movies, TVs, films, music, entertainment, technology, and services, hardware, which is TVs, laptops. Well, they're no longer doing laptops, but let's start with this article. Sony Group Corp no longer plans to release its big PlayStation 5 games on PC, a major shift in strategy that sees the video game maker returning to console exclusivity after 6 years of flirting with multi-platform releases, according to people familiar with the company's plans. Okay? According to people familiar with the company's plans. I should have highlighted that, but I didn't. So you have to understand, we're breaking down certain words. This has been carefully combed through his editor, through him, several rewrites. So that's how you got to think. This is more of an announcement and an internal struggle is what I'm actually coming to terms with within Sony. And you have the hardware traditionalists, and then you have this push, probably pressure from the Sony shareholders to go full digital as we move into, because I'm going to cover this more in depth, right? And then online games such as Marathon and Marvel Tokon, will still be released across multiple platforms, but single player titles such as last year's Samurai Hit, that is subjective, Ghost of Yotei, and the upcoming action game Soros will remain exclusive on the PlayStation 5, said people who asked not to be identified because they weren't authorized to talk publicly about the company's strategy. So right there, that could be like an internal leak, a corporate leak to see and test the waters as to how public reaction takes place once these articles go on into the ether, right? The people caution that things could change. This is an assumption. This is speculation in the future due to the unpredictable nature of the video game industry, and that Sony's plans are constantly shifting. But in recent weeks, PlayStation scrapped plans to bring Ghost of Yotei and other internally developed games to PC. Two games made by external developers but published by PlayStation, Death Stranding 2, and the upcoming Kena, Scars of Casamora, are still planned for release on PC this year. Actually, Death Stranding 2, I have to get because I have the first one. I didn't finish it. I should finish it because I'm a big Kojima nerd. And as you can see, I don't have it launched. But as you can see, but let's launch it anyways. I'm still playing through, let's see, let's go like this. Wait a minute. I'm still playing through Metal Gear Solid 5. Can you believe it? As a Metal Gear nerd, I haven't finished this. So a spokesperson for PlayStation declined to comment. So this is the biggest tell of the article. A spokesperson for PlayStation declined to comment, but notice that they didn't deny. So this could have some legs. I'll give him that. There are likely a few reasons behind the shift. One, that several recent PlayStation games have not sold well on PC. A faction within PlayStation has also expressed concern that releasing their games on PC risks damaging the console's brand and will hurt sales of the PlayStation 5 and its successor, according to people familiar with Sony's inner workings. Now, I have been saying this forever. I've been playing games on PC. I've been playing games since the early 80s. I'm dating myself here. But games on PC probably since 99, 2000 with Star Wars Galaxies, and my boy Steve, he helped me build one of my first PCs. Actually, when was this? Like 98, 99, 2000, around that area. So I've been playing games on PC for now 26 years. All right. And I still have, like I always said, my PS3 still connected to the TV back there. Because I believe in hard physical media. And I always said that consoles are only worth their exclusives. Without it, you have nothing. And I want to explain something to you, whether you're a Sony shill or an Xbox shill, whatever it is, whatever your desired piece of plastic is. Once the company, this is just some sort of, these are good, by the way. You should buy these if you have a bunch of hard drives that you want to keep externally. Once Sony and or Microsoft and or Nintendo, once they manufacture and ship this, they ship it to you, and you buy it at the store, it is dead technology. It is frozen technology. What that means is that, if in fact, for example, which I'm thinking, Xbox's next console, which probably will be their last, and it mentions here how it could be some sort of hybrid PC, maybe a modular console, right? That could, I'm thinking it's still going to be an SoC, a system on a chip, right? And I'm thinking if there is some modularity involved, who knows who's going to be first, whether it's Sony with the PS6 or Xbox with whatever code name, Magnus, if that's the code name, internal code name for the next Xbox. If it's still like it is right now, it's frozen tech. So meaning for the life of that console, you cannot outperform a PC. And then you have these fanboys it's always the 5090. And the 5090 right now is anywhere from like $3,800 to $5,000 because of all this AI crap, right? And RAM is through the roof, and you guys already know what's going on with that, right? But they always cherry pick the 5090. No one is forcing you to get a 5090. You can even go back as a 4070. And right now I have a 9070 XT, and I can max my entire library. And most of these games, although I have hundreds of games, most of these games are very demanding. For example, The Witcher 3, which already came out many years ago, it's still demanding to this day. But what I have here and what I can also, for example, my upgrade path, and this every PC gamer knows this, and you can always outperform consoles. And which brings me back to my original argument, is that consoles are only worth their exclusives. Now, I am for this and I am against this in a sense that I think that games should be for everyone, for everyone in every platform. But it is a kick in the nuts when you have a piece of plastic like a Sony PlayStation 5 or the future PlayStation 6, and then you're seeing your system sellers, your supposed system sellers on a PC, and then you're watching on YouTube the best version of that game, and it is a kick in the nuts because it comes down to affordability, and I understand it because every console is sold at a loss, whether it's Sony, PlayStation, or the Xbox, whatever code name is, right? And we're not even going to include Nintendo. Nintendo is, they're the only ones doing exclusives. Let's continue on with this. For decades, Sony's tactic for selling PlayStation was to keep tentpole franchises exclusive on its own consoles. In 2020, it pivoted and began bringing games to the personal computers, PCs via Steam, and also, I think, other platforms too, other online. I think, what's that thing that thinks that they're going to be the next Steam, whether or not the Epic Store. Since then, the company has put most of its biggest franchises on PC, such as God of War and The Last of Us. But the strategy has been muddled and confused many players. Most PC releases arrived months or years later after the game came out. The cadence was never consistent, and the announcement appeared to be haphazard. The company also upset PC players by asking them to create networks, PSN networks accounts to many games. I believe that was with I forget the name of that multiplayer game. Oh shit. Anyways, now Sony is looking to a more straightforward approach, going back to console exclusives. Sony's two rivals in the console space have taken different paths. Nintendo has released almost all of its games exclusively on its own Switch hardware, while Microsoft has turned to a multi-platform publisher, releasing everything on PC and many games on the PlayStation. And we've seen Halo, which is a total embarrassment and a total defeat by Microsoft releasing Halo on PlayStation. Who would have thought? Another factor behind Sony's pivot may be, this is actually interesting here, and I just mentioned this, that Microsoft next Xbox, which is rumored to use Windows and be a capable playing. I just fucked all that up, but I'm going to continue, bro. And being capable of playing PC games, some executives at PlayStation may not be thrilled at the prospect of one of the company's flagship games like God of War running on the next Xbox console. Now, that's where the article ends. And this is where I take you to one of my favorite sites of all time. And I always cover this website. It's called companiesmarketcap.com. You can go and visit this anytime you wish. Okay. And we're looking here at the top 5: NVIDIA, Apple, Alphabet, Microsoft, and Amazon. And we're going to continue. TSMC, Meta, Saudi, Aramco, which Iran just bombed, right? Tesla and Broadcom. Now, TSMC is huge. This is the Taiwanese super semiconductor manufacturing company, which makes everything for everybody. Your PlayStation, your phone, your laptop, your iPhone, your Android, everything, right? Your TVs, right? So that's why this is such a contested company. And that's why China is constantly threatening to invade Taiwan. That's another conversation, right? I don't want to talk about that right now, but I will in future videos. So when you look at the top 5, brother, we're talking trillions of dollars. Trillions of dollars. And actually, Microsoft was at, I think, 3.7 like 2 months ago, and they dropped down to 3. They lost over $700 billion in like about a couple months. That's neither here nor there. But if you continue, these are the big boys. And it goes all the way to Walmart at $1 trillion, right? But where's Sony? Oh shit, where's Sony? We keep scrolling down. Oh shit, 100, right? We keep scrolling. I'm going to, cut to the chase. They're $131 billion, dude. At number 154. I mean, that's nothing. Let's go to the next page. Right here. They're in between Newmont and Chubb. What the hell is Chubb? I don't know what this is. But to make my point is like, and they've been down. And when you look at their stock, right? This is, let's go to all. And they had a massive all-time high of $27 back in January of 2000. This is pre-PS2 days. And this is a 25-year cup and handle right here. Okay, not very impressive according to market strategists and investors, right? But then they've had a really bad performance during the 2000s and the 2010s, and then it started going up. And then during COVID, you had an all-time high of about $24.45, and then a huge dip after that. But it's important to note that right at 2021 is post-PC, is Sony's post-PC adventure when they started releasing their games on Steam and other platforms, but primarily on Steam, okay? And I take you to this, my boys, okay? This is fiscal year 2022, 3, 4, and 5. And this is the financial breakdown of Sony's PC revenue has seen a steady upward trajectory as they increased the frequency of ports and experimented with day one releases for live service titles. Okay, where is that? Helldivers 2 is the game that I was thinking about. All right, so in 2022, they had a $250 million revenue with God of War and Spider-Man Remastered. And in the very next year, they almost doubled, but they didn't at $450 million, inclusion of The Last of Us Part 1 and Legacy port sales, right? In 24, they literally doubled from the first year, more than doubled, $650 to $700 million. Massive boost from Helldivers 2, day one PC release. And in fiscal year last year, $800 plus million, almost, I'm not going to speculate, but probably going almost a billion on other platforms, probably the Epic Store. Continued success of Ghost of Tsushima and God of War Ragnarok. All right. So altogether, within 5 years, $2.37 billion. Nothing to scoff at. All right. But if you see and break down Sony's entire breakdown as a company, right? Gaming is, and I would have never guessed this, but gaming has become Sony's biggest revenue, right? So we're talking about the PlayStation as a platform. So the PlayStation as an idea, as an ideology, as a brand, right, is massive, massive for Sony. And rightfully so. And it needs to be that way, because without it, we're talking about minus 32 billion. I mean, we're talking about like, listen, shave off 32 billion and you're down $100 billion company. Anybody can scoop up Sony and buy it for pennies on a dollar. Could you imagine, right? After Paramount just bought Warner Brothers. So, I mean, could you imagine how sensitive of a position financially Sony is in right now, right? And there's a lot of, I'm going to go over a lot of areas within Sony that aren't doing well and actually are losing the company a lot of money. So we go from 32 billion for gaming, music and anime, 11 billion. Wait, is this revenue? Yeah, revenue and in shares of the market cap, right? And in electronics, 15 billion sensors. They make a lot of they make their own chips. They make a lot of lenses as well, cameras, stuff like that. And in pictures, movies, TVs is their least. All right. So when we scroll down a little bit more, imaging and sensing is their, wait, this is quarter three of fiscal year 2025. There was another one here. Hold on one second. Yeah, so gaming and network services, right? 19% strong growth. Music, 9% steady. Underperforming is their TV and movie department, and they're actually doing horrible. And in electronics, ET&S, which is entertainment, technology, and services, is their least profitable. And one of the takeaways is that the PlayStation is a loss leader. While the gaming segment as a whole is Sony's most profitable, the PS5 hardware itself is currently a drag on growth. The issue, we are in a latter half of the console lifecycle. Hardware sales are naturally declining as the market reaches saturation. Sony often sells hardware at a slim margin or loss to get users in the ecosystem where they spend money on software. Currently, hardware revenue is down roughly 4% year over year, which is being saved by record high profits from game sales plus the PlayStation Plus subscriptions. Now, this here is crucial because PS subscriptions is massive. And what's a takeaway? It's all digital. So we're going into an all digital world. I wouldn't be surprised if the next PlayStation is digital only. That would be kind of sad because I'm all for physical media, hard media, right? But to take us back to this article here, this is still until, look at this, a spokesperson for Sony PlayStation declined to comment. So should I cover this here? This is, I went down a deep rabbit hole, right? And the takeaway here is these are four cool little points here. The information is directionally true, but not finalized. Corporations don't confirm strategy before investor calls, earning windows, or internal alignment. The strategy is fluid. They're still testing financial modeling around exclusivity versus multi-platform release. Like I said, there could be an internal struggle between teams over at Sony and like a lot of bickering. Remember, like Sony Sega of America versus Sega of Japan. There's a lot of really good breakdown videos on YouTube about how they were just like going at it. And unfortunately, and eventually, it was the exit of Sega's hardware space and console competition, right? And then they want optionality. Once you confirm exclusivity publicly, you lose negotiation leverage, which is huge, actually. And then they benefit from ambiguity. Ambiguity keeps competitors guessing. It keeps investors speculating, keeps customers emotionally engaged. So what this is doing also, I mean, I went down even more of a deeper rabbit hole, bros. But what this is getting the conversation out there, and it looks to me, and it seems to me that they picked Jason Schreier as the catalyst, kind of like, hey, listen, break this out there. Just wait a couple of days after, because you did make you did make an appearance on some podcast. Here are some talking points, and then break this on a Wednesday. We want to see, because remember, this could have broken yesterday during Tech Tuesday, right? Every Tuesday for the past, 10, 15 years has become Tech Tuesday. But this is actually a big announcement. But my guess is that nothing is confirmed. Good for if you have a Sony PlayStation, I mean, and that's all you can afford, then good for you, right? And this is actually good news for you. But as far as like gaming is concerned, and as far as availability for other players, I don't know how I feel about this. All right, guys, that was my little breakdown of this article from Jason Schreier's Bloomberg, and I had to archive this because they want you to pay. I ain't gonna pay for shit. Let me know what you guys think. My analysis, I could have gone a lot deeper. That's what she said. Let's get this channel up to 1,000 subscribers, and I'll see you guys on the next one.